Life and Teachings of Swami Adbhutananda. And right now we're on Latu's own memories of Sri Ramakrishna. We'll start on page 40 if you have your book and you're following along. On Kali Puja Day, the Mother's Temple in the Chudni, the covered portico at the temple garden entrance on the river. It's not Chandi, it's Chudni. Chandni. Would be decorated with lights. Ramlal Dada would come to ask the Master's blessing before beginning the worship in the temple. During the day, the Master would stay in his room, visiting the Mother only at night. Music would be played in the concert tower all night long. One year, Kali Puja fell on a Saturday, an auspicious day for worshiping the Divine Mother. The Master told us, practice jopam tonight. Anyone who practices jopam on very auspicious nights like this will soon reach perfection. The Master did not allow us to sleep that night. He sang until the late hours. On Jagadatri Puja, we would go with him to Manomoham Babu's house. Once a musician there played the drums so beautifully that the Master went into samadhi. The Master went to see a jatra, an open-air theatrical performance, at a devotee's home in the village of Dakshineswar. Baburam, Ramlal Dada, and I went with him. The main actor was a good person, and he greeted the Master warmly. The next day, the actor came to the Kali temple and sang many beautiful songs for the Master. Afterward, the Master told him, your life's purpose will be fulfilled through the writing of such songs. He asked Ramlal Dada to copy the songs. Another time, a jatra party came to the Dakshineswar temple. I watched the performance all night long. The Master was also there. The story was of a man who loved a woman so much that he dug a tunnel under the ground so that he could meet with her. Just see the power of love. The Master used to say that when the three attachments become one, then God is realized. That is, when one loves God with the combined force of the attachment of the chaste wife for her husband, that of a mother for her child, and that of a rich miser for his wealth, then one is sure to realize him. Once when the Master was sick, Dr. Mahendranath Paul came to see him. Before leaving, he gave 5 rupees to Ramlal Dada for the Master. The Master did not know this. That night he tossed and turned in bed. I fanned him for a long time, but still he was restless. Finally he said to me, please call Ramlal. That rascal must have done something. Otherwise, why am I not able to sleep? It was then 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. As soon as Ramlal Dada arrived, the Master said, you rascal, go and return that money to the man who gave it to you in my name. Then Ramlal Dada told the Master the whole story. That very night I accompanied him to Mahendra Paul's house, and rousing the doctor from his sleep, he returned the money. Ram Babu brought a basket of jalopis, an Indian sweet, for the Master one day. But on his way to Dakshineswar, he gave 1 sweet from the basket to a young boy. The Master would not eat the jalopis and told him, never give away a part of anything you bring for me, for then it cannot be offered to the Divine Mother, and you know that I cannot eat anything without offering it to the Mother first. Sometime after the Master hurt his arm, Tarak, later Swami Shivananda, came to Dakshineswar. He brought prasad, holy clay, some holy dust, and a rosary from Vrindavan for the master. When he noticed the bandage on the master's arm, he asked, "What happened to your arm?" The master replied, "I was going to take a look at the moon when my feet tripped over a low railing and my arm was broken. The suffering has not stopped." "Is it a dislocation or a fracture?" Thakur asked. "I don't know," said the master. "These people have simply bandaged my hand. I like to chant the mother's name with my mind at ease. But just see how the trouble now. They won't even let me undo the bandage. Is it possible to call on the mother in such a painful state? Sometimes I think, what nonsense this bandage is. Let me break all these bonds and merge into the divine. Then again, I think, no. This is just another aspect of the divine play. There's also some joy in this." Thakur told the master, "By your mere wish you can be cured." "What?" exclaimed the master. "Can I cure myself by only a wish?" Then he paused a moment and added, "No. Suffering from this affliction is good. For those who come here with desires to see the conditions I am in, will see the conditions I am in and will go away. They won't bother me." Then he said, "Mother, you played a clever trick." At that he started to sing. Soon he merged into samadhi. When Brother Niranjan, later Swami Brahma-jnani, came to the master for the first time, the master told him, "Look here, my boy. If one does 99 good turns to a person and one bad, the person remembers the bad one and forgets the others. But if he does 99 bad turns to God and one good, the Lord remembers the good one and forgets all the rest. This is the difference between human love and divine love. Remember this." One day the master touched Brother Niranjan in ecstasy. Then Niranjan could not close his eyes for 3 days and nights. He had the continuous vision of light, and he kept chanting the Lord's name. Before coming to the master, he had been interested in spiritualism and would act as a medium. The master teased him, "This time it is not an ordinary spirit who has possessed you, my boy. The real divine spirit has jumped on your shoulders. Try as you may, you won't be able to get rid of him." A man came into the master's room one day and started to talk about worldly things. The master said, "This is not the place to talk of such matters. Please go to the temple manager's office." The man left the room. Then the master told me, "Sprinkle the room with water from the Ganga. That man is a slave to lust and gold. 7 cubits below the spot where he sat is polluted. Sprinkle the water well." One day we went with the master to Bhadrakali, across the Ganga from Dakshineswar, to hear a scholar speak. However, the man said such foolish things. Master told him, "After much tapasya, austerity, a man achieves faith in God, whereas you, a scholar, are creating doubt about him. What type of learning do you have?" The scholar replied nervously, "Oh, no, sir, I wasn't serious." The master understood that the man was merely posing as a great scholar. He touched the man's body and said, "Your mind has become dry, like a weather-beaten piece of wood. After reading so many scriptures, you have learned only to speak hypocrisy." The scholar, being embarrassed, finally left. The master used to deal in this way with dry intellectuals. One day Girish Babu came to Dakshineswar quite drunk. The master asked me, "Go and see if he left anything in his carriage." If you find something, bring it here. I did as I was told, and I found a bottle of wine and a glass. I brought both to the master. When the devotees saw the wine bottle, they began to laugh. But the master said to me, "Keep the bottle for him. He will want it for a final drink." Just see how liberal the master was towards his devotees. Girish Babu arrived one night with Kalipada Ghosh. Kalipada was a terrible drunkard. He refused to give money to his family, spending it for wine instead. But his wife was very pure. I heard that many years earlier she had come to the master, seeking some kind of medicine that would change her husband's tendencies. The master sent her to Holy Mother. Holy Mother sent her back to the master. He again sent her to Holy Mother, and this exchange went on 3 times. At last, Holy Mother wrote the master's name on a bell leaf that had been offered to the Lord, and gave it to Kalipada's wife, telling her to chant the Lord's name. Kalipada's wife chanted the Lord's name for 12 years. When the master first met Kalipada, he remarked, "This man has come here after tormenting his wife for 12 years?" Kalipada was startled, but said nothing. Then the master asked him, "What do you want?" Kalipada asked shamelessly, "Can you give me a little wine?" The master smiled, "Yes, I can. But the wine I have is so intoxicating that you will not be able to bear it." Kalipada took him literally and said, "Is it real British wine? Please give me a little to soak my throat." "No, it is not British wine," said the master, still smiling. "It is completely homemade. This wine cannot be given to just anyone, for not everyone can stand it. If a person tastes this wine even once, British wine will seem insipid to him ever after. Are you ready to drink my wine instead of the other?" For a moment, Kalipada was thoughtful, and then I heard him say, "Please give me that wine which will make me intoxicated my entire life." The master touched him, and Kalipada started to weep. We tried to calm him, but he went on weeping in spite of our attempts. Once the master was going somewhere by boat with Kalipada. While they were on the boat, he wrote a mantra on Kalipada's tongue. Later, Kalipada became a great devotee and did a great deal to serve the master. Just see, if the wife is pure and loving, she will even practice austerities for the welfare of her husband. It was because of his wife that Kalipada was saved. I used to accompany the master to the theater where Girish Babu would show him much respect. He used to arrange for a high box seat for the master and appoint a man to fan him as well. He himself would often come to see the master on the upper level. On one occasion, Girish Babu approached the master quite drunk and addressed him affectionately. "You must be my son. I have not been able to serve you in this life. You must become my son. I have not been able to serve you in this life, but if you are born again as my son, I can do so. Please promise me that you will be my son." "What are you saying?" asked the master. "Why should I be born as your son?" Then Girish Babu became very angry and scolded the master severely. Hearing him abusing the master so, I could not hold back my anger. I had a stick in my hand and was ready to hit Girish Babu. But Devan Babu said, "Since the master is bearing all of this, why should you raise your stick?" I am sure that Devan Babu if Devan Babu had not told me that, I would have given Girish Babu a good blow. I was that angry. On our way back to Dakshineswar, Deban Babu told the master what I had almost done. The master exclaimed, "Wouldn't it have been awful if you had hit Girish? Didn't you notice? After he abused me, he fell to the ground when I got into this carriage and took the dust of my feet. Didn't you see his faith?" And during the trip, the master repeatedly prayed, "O Mother, Girish is an actor. How can he understand your glory? Mother, please forgive him." The devotees came to know of the incident at the theater, and many of them told the master that he shouldn't visit a person such as Girish. Ram Babu also heard about it, and he came to Dakshineswar the following day. As soon as he entered the room, the master asked him, "Ram, what do you have to say about Girish?" "Sir," Ram Babu told him, "the serpent Kaliya told Krishna, 'Lord, you have given me only poison. Where can I get nectar to offer you?' It is the same with Girish. Where will he get nectar? Why, sir, should you be displeased with him?" I can read you the story of Kaliya from the Bhagavatam. Kaliya was a venomous snake who polluted the sacred waters of the Jamuna River and preyed upon the cows and cowherd boys of Vrindavan. Krishna, the friend of the cowherd boys, came to slay Kaliya. The snake attacked him, but Krishna jumped onto the snake's hood. Then Kaliya began to spew out poison in great quantities. Then when Krishna asked him why he was emitting poison, Kaliya said, "Lord, it is you who have given me poison. It is all I have with which to worship you. Where shall I get nectar?" Meanwhile, Girish Babu had been very repentant. He had refused food and was weeping a great deal. We reached his house a little before evening. Hearing that the master had come, Girish Babu approached him with tears in his eyes and fell at his feet. Only when the master said, all right, did he finally get up. A long conversation followed. I remember Girish Babu saying, "Master, if you had not come today, I would have concluded that you still had not attained that supreme state of knowledge where praise and blame are equal, and moreover, that you could not be called a Paramahamsa. I would have considered you to be an ordinary man like ourselves. But today I have understood that you are that supreme one. You will not be able to hide this from me anymore. I shall never desert you. My welfare is now in your hands. Please tell me that you will be responsible for me and that you will save me." When Keshav Babu, a Brahmo leader, was very sick, the master went to see him. He came down from the upper story when he heard that the master had arrived. After seeing how ill Keshav Babu was, the master said, "This time I can't understand the will of the mother." Within 3 or 4 months, Keshav Babu passed away. An earlier time when Keshav Babu was sick, the master promised to offer green coconut and sugar to the goddess Siddheshwari when he would recover. Keshav Babu got well, and the master sent Mother Siddheshwari the promised offerings. Keshav's followers invited the master to join them at a garden house in Sinti at the time of their annual festival. Many famous people came. It was there that I first met Shivanath Shastri, who was much loved by the master. The master would say about him, when one hemp smoker meets another hemp smoker, he feels happy. In that way, I am happy. But Shivanath would avoid the master. One day he said he would come to Dakshineswar, but he did not keep his word. The master commented, "He promised me that he would come, but he did not. That is not good. One should not break one's word. Truthfulness is the austerity of the Kali Yuga, present age. He who does not adhere to truth cannot realize God." Once he said to Shivanath, "Is it true that you have said that my brain is unbalanced? Day and night you think of worldly things and consider your head to be all right, while day and night I think of God, and you think my head is unbalanced?" The master told Mani Malak one day, "Why do you calculate so much? A devotee should spend all that he earns." When Mani Malak would visit Dakshineswar, the master would ask him, "How did you come here?" In order to save money, Mani Malak used to walk from his house to Garanhata. From there take a share carriage to Baranagar, and would then proceed to Dakshineswar on foot. On some days, his face would get sunburned. The master would ask him, "Why do you come here under such hardship? Can't you come all the way by carriage?" Mani Malak would reply, "If I ride a one-horse carriage, my children will think it necessary to ride in one with 2 horses. Also, you have said that a virtuous householder should save money for his children and for charity." Once Mani Malak returned from a pilgrimage and told the master, "I found that in the holy places some sadhus constantly ask for money." The master replied, "You are irritated because sadhus ask you for 1 or 2 pice? You should not go on a pilgrimage with this sort of attitude. While on pilgrimage, one should be charitable. Sadhus earn no money, so you should give a few pice to them. You people want to enjoy all the good things in this world and let the sadhus renounce. You expect them to live on air." Once there was a scarcity of water in the village where Rakal was born, so the master asked Mani Malak to have a reservoir dug there. Mani Malak also donated money for the education of poor children. One day the master told him, "Now that you are old, forget this world and meditate on God. One should meditate on God in the heart. Thus love grows." When his son passed away, Mani Malak came to the master to unburden his grief. The master listened to everything. Then he began to sing. When the singing was over, Mani Malak's grief had melted away. We often went with the master to Adhar Babu's house in Shobha Bazaar. He looked upon Adhar Babu's house as one of his Calcutta parlors. Sometimes Adhar Babu would arrange a festival at his house and would feed as well. His mother was a great devotee. She would buy costly mangoes in the off-season and send them to the master, together with bananas and sweets. The master took great delight in these things. On one occasion, at Adhar Babu's house, the master told him, "Please be sure not to give me a sour mango." So Adhar Babu bought him the best mango he could find. The master relished it greatly and said, "Most likely this one was selected by your mother." One day we were invited to Adhar Babu's house, but Adhar Babu had forgotten to invite Ram Babu, who was greatly offended. Ram Babu complained to the master, "What wrong have I done to have been left out like this?" The master tried to console him and said, "Look, Ram, Rakal was asked to arrange this, and he simply forgot to invite you. Should you be angry with Rakal? He is just a boy. Later, Adhar Babu himself went to Ram Babu's house and invited him to the gathering. It was also at Adhar Babu's house that I first saw Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, a celebrated Bengali writer. Bankim was extremely intelligent. He tried to test the master, but he came away outdone. When he was about to leave, he asked the master to visit him, but since he never sent an invitation, the master did not go to his house. Many famous kirtan singers would come to Adhar Baba's house. I remember once hearing a song based on the Chandi that impressed me very much. Adhar used to come to Dakshineswar every day, even bringing his food with him. Often he would fall asleep once he arrived. Some people criticized him for this. Do you know what the master told them? What do you people know? This is the Divine Mother's place. It is the abode of peace. Instead of engaging in worldly talk, Adhar would provide his carriage for the master on those occasions. The master warned Adhar not to ride on horseback, but he did not listen, and he was killed by being thrown from a horse. On hearing the news of his death, the master said, "One of my parlors are closing. I see an end to my gatherings." Some days the mind is in a state in which something one sees makes a particularly deep impression. I saw the master in samadhi many times, but there's one time I especially remember. He was showing us that day how to yearn for God. He merged into samadhi and remained so for 10 or 15 minutes. His whole body complexion changed. His face radiated fearlessness and compassion. It is impossible for me to describe that sight, and even now I cannot forget it. Now, I can't ask for questions or comments because I can't see if anyone's here.
We're all here.
Oh, okay, you are here.
And they finally fixed the video.
Oh,
And the
okay. Do you have any questions or comments?
I have a comment. You know, that part about Girish.
I'm sorry?
It's the part about, can you hear me?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay. It's not important.
No, it says you're muted, and now you're gone.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, no, I hear you just fine.
Okay,
No,
try
well,
again, Leanne.
Okay, well, I just remember the story, the part about Girish. Swami Chetanananda read that one time, a long time ago, in a lecture, and it was one of those that we were still recording it on CD, and I listened to it over and over again because I really liked it. And he read this book, and he didn't say, what book it was. And he was saying, he's saying this person who was going to beat Girish, but he never mentioned. So now I finally know that it was Swami Abhutananda. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of, it all connects now. And that was all I was going to say.
Oh, good. Have you been able to get the book, Leanne?
This
How
one?
a shepherd boy became a saint.
Yeah.
Okay. You can reread it.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
well, I
So
can't
was
see
looking at
any of you, but that's
the
okay.
that he was saying. Yeah.
I think
She
we're
certainly did not get it from the temple library.
okay.
I'm working in the library now.
Yep.
Right. Oh, okay. No, I got it from Hollywood, Vedanta
Yeah.
Press.
Sure. Okay, well, now this next Saturday will be at 5 o'clock. It will be the Bhagavad Gita class with Swami Sarvadevananda. So I hope you can all be here. That's 5 p.m. this Saturday. And Sunday, Swami Sarvadevananda his lecture title is What We Want. Wednesday we'll have the usual Adbhutananda reading. And then on the 25th, Saturday, we'll have our regular gospel reading of Ramakrishna. We'll also have a Karma Yoga Day if any of you would like to come. It'll be from 9 to noon. I don't know exactly what we're doing. It's quite dependent upon the weather. But we'll end with a chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.